Here.
Not so much. Yes.
All right. Where's my little noisy thing? There's my noise thing. Okay, guys. So, are you recording? Are we going? Okay. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want everybody to show me yours now. All right. Okay. So we got some pieces, right? Did you guys do it the way I asked you to do it? The way I asked you to do it was that it becomes kind of this form that's related to this one. So if you look, right, I will see that this has a bulge out here, and this has a bulge out here. This has a bulge out here, and this comes to a point, and that comes to a point. You see how they're related? So did you all do that? All right, good. So here's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to make a duplicate of this one. First of all, I want you all to find space on the table, and I want you guys to show me that you guys can do this with yours. So see how I'm taking two edges, and I'm touching the ground, and they're laying flat. Not working. Hardy's is working. Brian's is working. Yours is sort of working, yes. Paula's. Yours seems to have an extra cut in it. Yeah, you've got an extra cut. Okay, so at any rate, so you should be able to use this thing, right, to where two edges of it hit flat on the ground like that, all right, and it becomes kind of this jagged wall. Okay? So the reason I'm doing that is because at first we're going to use this to create a roof form, but I want you to see that this process of making these triangulated polygonal forms this wasn't just for making a roof, that later on we can make sort of a wall out of it, okay? So you guys are going to be taking this later and gluing it to something so that it becomes more of a wall-like piece. Okay, any questions about that? No? All right, so the next thing after we have made a duplicate of this, so I'm going to do that real quick so that I have it. I'm going to use my Sharpie. I'm going to put this here. And not only do you have to mark the outline shape, but you also have to tell it, you have to know where the folds are. So that covers me, so I can make my replicant after I finish doing what I'm going to do with that. My Sharpie is now almost dead. And it's officially dead. Put that thing in the trash. Let me borrow yours. All right. That's better. This one will be nice and sharp and bright. The camera can pick it up and all that sort of stuff. So let me put these marks down. Okay, so there's my copy of it. Now, the next step that I want you guys to do with this thing is, as I mentioned, this is going to turn into a roof form over top of this. So I got to verify that that the roof form is going to work with the floor form, right? So we're recognizing this as this sort of two-leveled floor, right? And then this is going to sit over top of it like that, okay? So then I got to figure out a way to take this thing and sort of suspend it above that one. And I want to do that in a way that you know, kind of allows me to enclose the lower edges of this. Now, before we get too far, one of the things that I want you guys to be aware of is that the surface that we're concerned with here is this surface, not this one. This was merely placed here, okay, as a means of making this more rigid. So one of the things that I'm going to ask you guys to do with this one is going to be to cut some of it away so that you don't confuse it. Let's see how I just sliced away a portion of it. So I've carved it way back. That way it's kind of just down there. It's not really, I can't bring things to an edge because we're going to be adding in triangles to this thing to come down to the edges. Okay? All right. So now we've got to figure out how are we going to suspend this above there so that it kind of creates this roof form, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use some small little sort of triangular pieces to kind of suspend this above the floor form. Okay? Now I want the distance to be about right, and so one of the things that I want to happen is I want you to kind of think in terms of, you know, how much space there is between the levels. Okay? So I don't want there to be any less than 1 1/2 inches between this valley form and the lowest point here. So it's got to be about that much distance in between the two. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some little sort of legs to kind of keep this thing up. All right? So here goes. I'm holding this one up above here, and I'm going to kind of assume that I want one of these legs to be about that long right there. So the coordination level is down today. So I measured that with my finger, and it came out to be about, like 2 inches. Okay? So I'm just going to use some leftover scrap material that's right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little triangle that's about 2 inches tall. So about 2 inches, like that. All right? Oh. Now you guys know why you don't use these for, screwed that one up, didn't I? So I cut this little triangular shape like that and I actually flattened out the tip, all right? And because what I want to do is I want to kind of glue this down here so that it supports it a fixed distance up from the floor beneath it, okay? Notice that these are still like lining up with each other, right? You understand that? See the shapes? So I'm going to put this right here. Flip it over. Glue.
Eight minutes.
All right, go ahead and stop it.